Now these were two German artillery guns. As you can see, the top one was in 1913 and the bottom one was in 1912. As you can see, there were many changes. For example, the weight of the shell went from 184 pounds to 89 pounds. Now these were huge deck guns or head guns in 1915 in every British dreadnought, and basically it had three main cannons at the front, and it used to measure around 25 to 30 meters erected from the very bottom of the deck of the boat. So it could fire up to a distance of 15 to 20 miles, and it was very effective in sea combat, especially in the Battle of Jutland. It did not have its own targeting system, so basically it took radio command or telegram signals from the high command of the boat in order to shoot at any targets in the distance. These were one of the first German prototype tanks in 1916. As you can see, it had one main cannon at the front and two machine guns at the side of the cannon. On the sides of the tank there was no protection whatsoever, so basically the tank was very vulnerable against air and side attacks from tanks or hand grenades. But despite all this, the Germans managed to actually push back many British tank units on the Western Front. Bolt action was really just the lever here on the left hand side just be put back and pushed back in, so that the next bullet could be pushed up by one lever on the bottom in order for the bullet to be ready and able to fire. In many cases there was a frame containing 5 bullets, which was easier for the person just to maneuver 5 bullets at the same time, just pulling back the lever every time he pulled the trigger. This was effective in combat since the soldier could actually fire many bullets without reloading with powder and many other things in the past. German troops at the Battle of Ypres passing through a gas cloud. After the successful attack on the French and Belgians, the German High Command decided that many of their infantry offensives would include first a bombardment of gas on the enemy, and then the sending in of fresh German troops with gas masks to take any survivors. This did, however, work well for the first 3 years of war, but after this point, after in 1916, the Allies also began to use poison gas, which made the German offensives slower than they really were, which made the Germans slow with their land occupation on the Allied front. The burns of mustard gas would penetrate directly to the bone, making the soldier unable to fight in battle. However, this was not the only effect mustard gas had in contact with the skin. For example, if mustard gas were to be inhaled, then it would cause lung failure, or worse, cause internal bleeding, which at that time could not be solved because the doctors at the field did not have good practice. Barbed wire in the Battle of the Somme. So basically, real barbed wire, you can only put 2 fingers in between each spike. So just imagine people trying to cross over them and people getting their hands full of blood before even going into combat. And on the other side of that barbed wire, you would have German machine guns and German snipers shooting at the person, without mercy. So basically, that's another reason why so many soldiers died in this battle, specifically on the first day of battle. Now this is a picture of a postcard of the London air raid in 1916 of 2 huge German Zeppelins, the L3 and L4, and this was the L3, and in this case it was the L3, and basically the L3 had a structure of hardened steel, so artillery that was shot from the ground in London did little damage to the structure. It was not until at the end of 1916 that many British airplanes were manned up with incendiary bullets, which could easily penetrate the structure of the Zeppelin and ignite the hydrogen air inside the Zeppelin, causing the Zeppelin to self-destruct literally within minutes. This was very effective, and it called for the end of the London raid. French squadron in World War I in 1916, and as you can see, it was very well protected. It had 2 main guns at the front and 1 main gun at the back protecting the rear. As the Americans called it, it was a flying fortress. It did not go at a relative good speed. It used to go at a speed of around 60 to 80 miles per hour, which made it slower than any other plane in combat at that time, which meant that many German aircraft planes could take these planes down very easily, and also German artillery posts had a clear view of these because they were really gigantic in the sky.